Hey yo, it's actually Amoonguss, and now that the whole Pokedex has been leaked and the data mines are out, we're gonna react to the complete Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokedex. So let's get it. First thing, we got the starters, and the queen of the Gen 9 starters. Music too loud, way too loud. Nah, but we got Meowscarada. Grass Dark type, Protean as a hidden ability, and the 110 attack, the 123 speed. That's basically all you need to know about our queen of the new starters. But my favorite of the new starters is by far the Coco line. Shout out to Crocolore. That's my guy. And unaware, so you know the first thing we're going to look at is the defensive stats. 176, 104 HP. It's really not shabby, but not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. Definitely not the best of the trio either. And we got Quaxley. Quaquaval being the final evolution. He's got access to Moxie with a respectable 85 base speed and a 120 in physical attack. So you know that thing's gonna have the potential to go crazy. Choice Scarf sets are gonna be real. So now we got Lechonk, and I already talked about the evolution Oinkalong, but we also now have confirmed a second form for Oinkalong, which has the Aroma Veil ability as opposed to the Lingering Aroma ability, which I have to admit, I don't know what it does yet. I'm sure I could look it up. We'll possibly cover new abilities and stuff, but I want to stay on the Pokemon. So we got a new evolution for Dunsparce. Same abilities. A boost in HP, attack, a boost in everything really, but still slow. So we'll see how good this Pokemon, or how viable this Pokemon actually is. Dunsparce, I mean, shout out to my man Bishme, who I know is excited for this evolution. This is a Pokemon that he really loves, but it has always been a Pokemon that's been not favored by me. Also, while we talking about the gang, shout out to my man Arts. One of his least favorite Pokemon that he's seen so far in Scarlet and Violet is the next one, Tarountula. Forgive me on some of these pronunciations, but this Pokemon's got Stakeout. The same ability that Thievul and Nickit had last generation. If it hits a Pokemon on a switch, it does double damage, or it gets a boost on damage, you know? So that's pretty cool. Although I do not like the design on Spidops. Maybe when I see the full sprite, it'll look a little different, a little better. But I'm concerned about the design. I'm concerned about the 35 speed. Although it's good on a stakeout Pokemon. It's fine on a stakeout Pokemon to have low speed. I'm not going to say good. The defensive stats are decent, but the HP kind of drags it down. It's going to be a low tier Pokemon in competitive, but I do like the design, at least on the first stage. So just moving on from that one, we got Nimble. Nimble's got the tinted lens, as well as its evolution Low Kicks, which has got a base 92 speed. It's respectable to go with its 102 attack. That might be usable. Its defenses are really bad, but you know, it is kind of looks like a Pokemon to have bad defenses. Bug Dark type, so what else is a Bug Dark type? I don't know. It's an interesting typing. Next we got another bug type. We got Rellor. This is a shed skin compound eyes buggy that evolves and loses both of its abilities. It's totally weird. So it evolves into Rabska. Synchronized and telepathy, good defensive stats, low speed. Good special attack too at 115. Grevard had been spoiled to us before. It's got the ability pickup for them early run throughs in your playthrough, and its evolution has been now dropped, well, leaked, and that's Houndstone, a Sand Rush Pokemon with also the ability Fluffy, which is a niche but kind of cool ability, you know. Pretty decent stats on the Houndstone. You know, it's got low but usable speed. It's possibly one of those Pokemon that could or could not go Trick Room. Like a lot of ghost types like to play on Trick Room teams. It's got good special defense, good decent HP, and good attack. So I think that this Pokemon is going to be viable. I think that this is, besides the starters, possibly the best competitive mon that we've seen so far. Moving on though, we got Flittle and Esparta. So I don't know what the Opportunist ability does, but we all know what Frisk and Speed Boost represent. Frisk not so great, but information can be important, and Speed Boost, so I'm sure that will be the most common ability used on this thing. It's got 105 speed, that's really good. A 101 special attack, so I can't think of a speed booster that most commonly uses special attack. So that's an interesting build on a Pokemon. Pure Psychic typing isn't that strong, but it's a decent offensive typing. We got Farigiraf with the Cud Chew ability, Armor Tail, and Sap Sipper. Now the stats on this thing is honestly a huge disappointment. They only get +5 in defenses, and they actually have a lower speed. I don't know how that makes sense from a design point, but they do have a lot more HP. I mean, I don't really feel like that's really worth all of it. I don't know. Farigiraf, honestly, looking like an early disappointment. I hate to see it, but I hate how they barely gave him any more stats. We aren't going to cover Diglett and Dugtrio. We've known them for years. But we are going to talk about Wiglet and Wugtrio. They got the Gooey and the Rattled abilities. And yes, they have the exact same stats as their counterparts. Oh, wait. Pause. Wiglet has less special defense, which is unfortunate because it doesn't get anything to make up for that. But Wugtrio is exactly the same statistically as the Dugtrio, and that's alright. Next we got Dondozo, Unaware Mon, with all of its stats leaned on the physical side, but it does have 150 base HP. That's pretty huge. That's pretty awesome. And it also has the Oblivious and Water Rail abilities for whatever that's worth. We got like a new Bruxish going on in the form of Veluza. It's got Mold Breaker and Sharpness, which I'm sure is some form of offensive ability. But the stats are really mediocre, so I mean, I feel like this thing probably gonna be fairly low tier unless it's got like some really good move. I don't know what move it could have that could really take advantage of the Mold Breaker. I mean, it gets past Storm Drain and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm not too high on Veluza coming into the game. I do love to see the Finizen line, Finizen, Palafin, and Palafin Hero. I don't know what this 0 to Hero ability does, but the evolution method is co-op only. You need to play with someone and then level up to 38 plus. It doesn't say also how you get the Paladin Hero form, but look at these stats: 160 attack, 100 base speed, really good defenses. Right here, This is a threat. This is a mon right here. We are going to be seeing this guy a lot for the next couple years. So shout out to Palafin Hero. Let's get to know the homie. One of my actually, we're just gonna scroll down a little bit more because two of my favorite evolution lines in this entire new game is coming up. We got the Small Lib line. They got Harvest as an ability, but that's really cool. Although I don't think they're gonna be incredibly viable. Arbolivia. I don't know how to say. I'm gonna have to learn how to say the name. I do like the name Smoliv and Doliv, but I think they dropped the ball on the third stage. So Smoliv's evolved form should be able to take advantage of the Harvest ability, having 78 HP, 90. 78 is like just low enough, but just high enough for Harvest, with a 90 defense and a 109 special defense. It's an incredibly slow Pokemon, but that's fine. It can grow roots like a tree, sit there, and hit you with the solar beam. We also got Capsakid. Shout out to Apparator. And its evolution, Scobilin. So this Pokemon's got the Moody ability, which just sounds fun. It's the first grass and fire type. It's moody. It's got chlorophyll. This Pokemon is one of my favorites in the entire game so far. You know I like my grass types, and you know I like my grass types that let you do silly shenanigans. And both of these two evolution lines that I just talked about got that written all over them. I'm so hyped for these two. But I guess I gotta move on. There's really not a ton I can say about them. We all know what chlorophyll does on sun teams, and Moody is gonna be banned. So, moving on, we got Tadbulb and Bellybolt. Bellybolt was shown to us as the Electric Gym Leader's ace. It's gonna be coming at us slow with good defenses, good HP, and a pretty high special attack. Got a new ability, Electromorphosis, my bad, Electromorphosis, as well as the ability Static and Damp. Kind of seems like a pretty vanilla electric type. We're just going to go ahead and move on that one, because I think the designs on these next two are pretty awesome. We got Varoom and Revaroom. Poison Steel type. Oops. So a big weakness to ground here, but otherwise, you got the 119 attack, the 90 speed. I mean, you know, good physical defense and not terrible special defense. So I think that this is a mon right here. I think that this is possibly usable. Maybe not top tier, but good. I think that this is going to be actually a good Pokemon. Of course, it depends on what moves it gets, but being able to poison things with 100% accuracy on Toxic, assuming it gets it, and also not being able to be toxic is very interesting and surprisingly and more viable than you might think. So one of my least favorite designs, though, is a little bit redeemed by having the steel typing. That's our guy, Earthworm, right here. He's got the new ability, Earth Eater. We'll see what that does, and he's got a huge defensive stat. So, you know, I'm kind of feeling like Sandaconda vibes, but a little bit better typing. Maybe a little bit worse vibes, you know, than Sandaconda, because this has Sand Veil. I don't know what Earth Eater does, but the Sand Spitter ability was definitely a thing that made Sandaconda a more viable Pokemon. We got the mouse Pokemon that was leaked to us in the one trailer on accident, and it has an evolved form. So we got Tandemouse and Mouthhold. Now maybe this Pokemon will have some viability in VGC, and maybe I'm underestimating its it's a access to the technician ability because it all depends on what moves it has. But I'm sure that this is not going to be I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the most viable option competitively. I think it's going to be a cute niche Pokemon that people will love, but probably not be able to use as much as they like. Kind of feel the same way about Titan too, because it's basically all HP. It does have a good attack stat, but I'm not sure. Nah, I'm capping on Titan. It just can't use it. Thick Fat's not a good ability on it. And Sheer Force is always a good ability, but it's a little slow. It's slower than Nidoking and Nidoqueen. Just put that out there. But it does have Slush Rush. And with that attack stat at 113 and Slush Rush, we might be on to something here. We just might be on to something here. So we got another evolution line of the Dragon and Ice type. We got Frigibax, Artibax, and Baxcalibur. Alright. The name's a little weird. The design, pretty cool. Looks like a frozen Darutagon. And I don't know what thermal exchange does, but you know, it's got good defenses at 115 HP, 92, 86. This is honestly a really great Pokemon all around when you look at his stats. It's almost definitely going to have a terrible moveset when I look at this stat line. Because this Pokemon just has regular Dragon and Ice moves like Dragon Claw and Ice Shard and Icicle Crash and things like that. This thing's going to be an absolute menace. It's got great base stats, and I mean, it's going to be very heavily reliant on its move pool, but this Pokemon's looking scary. Keep in mind, the other Pokemon around it, you know, they be in the 5s and 400s on BST. This Pokemon is sitting at 600. That is only passed by Palafin Hero so far. Yeah, the starters, they're all at 530. But moving on, we're going to get back down here. We got Tatsugiri, new ability Commander, also access to Storm Drain and a huge special attack stat. We got Silazar. We know about the Shed Skin. I don't think we knew about the Regenerator, but having that new pivoting move and access to Regenerator is huge. Silazar is busted. I love it. I can't wait to use it. I mean, Dragon normal typing is underrated. Drampa is very good. You know, like, don't sleep on Silazar, man. Silazar is going to be top tier. I think right now we're starting to get low enough in the Pokedex where we're starting to see some non-Route 1 Pokemon. We're going to go crazy with some of these. And Palmot and the Palmy evolution line is definitely another one. It's got access to Iron Fist, Natural Cure, Volt Absorb. Mostly Iron Fist though, because when you look at the speed and the attack on this Pokemon, it's definitely trying to encourage you to go that route with your moveset and EV spread and such. But it is said that Palmy has a revival move. So this Pokemon is just like Silazar with its new switchy move that sets a sub and Regenerator. This Pokemon is automatically viable when it can absorb status, revive, and then get out of there. Or it can do a little bit of damage with Iron Fist. It can do so many things. This Pokemon is viable. Palmot is valid. So next coming up, we got a bunch of single stage evolutions coming. But first we got Watrel, the flying electric type. A rare typing. Of course we have seen it before, but it's a rare typing. And this one's got a new ability called Wind Power, as well as Volt Absorb and Competitive. The base 125 speed means that this Pokemon will probably be viable. It's going to be very squishy, but it's got a good special attack stat and good speed, so it should be pretty viable. I mean, its typing is good. Doesn't get thunderbolted down nearly as easily as some other things, so it's lit. A new Flying Dark type, shout out to Mandibuzz, but this one is coming at you with the big pecs, the keen eye, and the new ability Rocky Payload. I'm going to go ahead and just throw this out here. I know nothing about this ability, but let me guess that this Rocky Payload has a similar effect to Rocky Helmet. Hey, y'all owe me to like and subscribe if I got that one right, so let me know down in the comments below. You know, I think that this Pokemon stats are a little too well distributed. Its defenses are definitely something that you could play off of, but I kind of feel like this is a RU/NU level Pokemon overall. Unless I'm way sleeping on the way that it could switch into things and take hits with 85 defenses, I don't know. Kind of feel like it's a little bit worse Mandibuzz. But another Pokemon I love the design for, I'm super hyped for, is Squawkabilly. Love the name, love the design. You know, I think that I think it's hilarious. I think it's a hilarious Pokemon, and that's one of my favorite types of designs, is funny designs. So this Pokemon kind of seems to remind me of Oricorio in a way, because its abilities say Intimidate, Hustle, Guts. Oh, it has Intimidate or Hustle, Guts or Hustle. No, Intimidate / Hustle, Guts / Intimidate / Hustle, or Sheer Force, depending on form. But what I'm trying to say here is that this Pokemon appears to be a flying type with multiple different forms, and it's a singer, like a rockabilly performer or rock star. I think this Pokemon will be found in the wild with Oricorio and be able to, you know, have some nice flavor in the wild, and some good stuff going on there that we can see visually while we're playing the game. I think Squawkabilly and Oricorio are going to get along, and that's going to be cool. We also got Flamigo. I was like, why didn't they just call it something else? Like, not what its name is, but it's Flamigo. My boy Flamigo, Scrappy, bro. Don't mess with my Scrappy Flamigo. Nah, but it's got the flying fighting typing. That's pretty interesting. Shout out to Howlucha. I don't think it's going to be a better Howlucha, but who knows what this Co-Star ability is going to be. It's just not got, I mean, 90 speed and 115 attack. I don't know if that's going to be quite high tier. You know, it's going to be decent, but like so-so at best. Cloth, kind of feeling the same way about you. You do have a pretty low BSD, down all the way at 450. But you got good physical stats. Maybe you could be used as physical wall. That's kind of a common thing with rock types. And I think Regenerator is probably the best ability they've came up with. It's at least my favorite ability, because switching is such a strong play in competitive Pokemon. So Cloth, you know, you're like kind of in that so-so range for me too. I'm pretty high on the designs for Nasil, Stack, and Garganacil. Garganacil. I don't know what the Purifying Salt ability does, but we all know what Sturdy and Clear Body does. Big defenses out here, big HP, low speed. This thing's looking like a good mon right here. Trick Room viability, just overall wall viability. And let's not act like Eviolite Nassel stack ain't a thing either, because that's valid. Next up, we got Glimmet and Glimora. Poison rock types, shout out Nihiligo. They got a new ability, Toxic Debris, as well as Corrosion, shout out Salazzle. So these are going to be able to poison, even poison and steel type Pokemon. That's pretty lit. Their base stats are pretty good. Their speed is alright enough to support its good defenses and excellent special attack. 130 special attack is definitely excellent. The sludge wave off this thing is going to be hitting. And like I said, the defenses are there. 83 HP, 90 physical defense, 81 special defense. So it's probably not just going to get melted. It, of course, will get melted by its 4 times weakness to ground. But other than that, I think we got a pretty good Pokemon here in Glimora. I think this thing is definitely going to be able to see some use. Now, for a long time, we've known about the guy Grafai, but let's look at his actual stats. It's got access to the ability Unburden, which can double its already high base 110 speed. But once we're super fast, we only got a 95 attack stat. I mean, that's usable, but you will see that doesn't... The Pokemon with really high defense and the defense investment are going to wall hits noticeably against this thing. Like, there's nothing I can really say about it. Fortunately for Grafai, it does have poison type. So maybe it can like prankster toxic things. That's pretty lit. There may be some other ways that we can go about using Grafai's speed and like gadget support use. But I don't think it's going to be the most viable. It's a little too squishy and it's going to be lackluster when it attacks. Moving on, we also got another Pokemon that if she watches this video, I know I'm going to break poor Izzy's heart when I tell her that Fido is going to evolve into Dachshund, and it's going to be an adorable Pokemon that you can't really use because the stats are just in the wrong spots. It's got 115 physical defense, 80 special defense, but only 57 HP. It's got 95 speed, but 80 and 50 on attacks. So, like, what are you doing? It's kind of a confused Pokemon. I'm sure Izzy's still going to love our guy no matter what, but it's not good. It's not going to be good. This is going to be a sit in your box Pokemon. I'm sorry. Unless you're Izzy, you're not going to enjoy it. You might have a little bit more fun, though, with the new Intimidate and the new Stakeout Mon, Maschiff, and my Bostiff. Alright, now this thing has got its stats in the right place. It's got just enough speed. It's got some good HP and alright defenses. It's got more physical defense than special defense because it's a Intimidate Pokemon. And it's got a very viable 120 in attack. This is a Pokemon that's uses could be similar to like Arcanine and stuff. It's obviously got a different typing. It's dark type. But, as far as a role it could play on a team. If you ever had a team where you're like, oh man, I just need a fire type. I slap Arcanine on here and it can play a certain role of pivoting and checking threats. That's what Mabostiff can do for you. And I think that it will be a pretty viable Pokemon. I like to try to use Stakeout as an ability, but I don't think that this is the best place for it. I don't recommend it. I mean, maybe in certain battles or draft league situations, it may see some use with Stakeout, but I think that the main thing it's going to be doing is intimidating, coming in, possibly absorbing some prankster, or turning off some prankster things, and messing with the opponent's game plans. And I think it's going to be very good at that role. So this is a new Pokemon too. I'm going to go ahead and see what I seen on the screen. I have not seen either of these two evolution lines until I just scrolled down to them. I don't know nothing about Bramblegast. Of course, we do know a little bit about Gimmighoul, but I don't know nothing about no Golden Go. That's crazy, bro. Nah, but it's really crazy. Going up to Bramblegast first, we got the Wind Rider ability. So this thing's like a dead tumbleweed, as well as Infiltrator, which is a just overall banger of an ability. It's got low defenses, 55 HP, 70 in defense, but it should have enough speed and attack to be. I mean, it's like a slightly better Delmise with the same typing, maybe like the same level as Decidueye. You know, it could be in that range of how good it is, but Decidueye does have, I think, better special defense, right? Like Decidueye does have more range of what it can do, so that's why I didn't go that route first. I was talking about Delmise as a grass ghost to compare this to, or maybe like, no, it's way better than Gourgeist, like way better than Gourgeist, probably better than Delmise as well. So let's go down to Golden Go. The Ghost and Steel type, already love that. Shout out Aegislash, one of my favorite Pokemon ever. Great special attack stat, great defenses, and it's not totally without speed. 84 is something. You know, it's 550 total base stat total. I think that this Pokemon is definitely viable, just off the rip. Now, we're getting down to the alternate forms, and I just want to say, I told y'all so on the Amoonguss form. So we know about Great Tusk. It's got a new ability called Photosynthesis. But let's go ahead and compare the stats. You get more HP, you get more physical side, and you get less special side. So you will be a little bit more weak to like your hydro pumps and stuff like that. I was almost going to say Scald, but that's no longer the case. And I'm noticing something. Pause. Every one of these new types have this ability, Photosynthesis. So I don't know what this does, but I bet it's going to be busted if they gave it to all of these Pokemon. And I showed y'all the Brute Bonnet type Amoonguss, bro. I've been showing y'all this. Has been in every Pokemon thumbnail that I've made. Every one. And nobody gave me the credit. But nah, I ain't mad about that. Amoonguss is going to a dark type. Yo, Amoonguss is going back to the old me, bro. You don't want to know about Gangsta Amoonguss, bro. So he's got a 570 BST. You know he's going to be a monster on the defensive side. 111, 99, and 99 defenses. Oh my God. And it doesn't even stop there. It's got 127 in attack. Loses some special attack. And gains some speed. This form of Amoonguss is going to be lit. You can't tell me nothing about it. This form of Amoonguss is going to be sick. I will point out, I was wrong about one thing. I told y'all in one of my past videos that this form was going to be grass and fighting type. Apparently it's grass and dark. So we got an ancient Suicune too. We don't know much about it, but that's super exciting. We got Sandy Shocks, which is a Photosynthesis Magneton. It's not a Magnezone, I guess is what they're saying here, but it's better than Magnezone except for in these two stats, in special defense, no, in defense and special attack. I don't know, that one's a little weird. Electric ground type instead of steel. I kind of feel like I like Magnezone better, but we'll see, because it all depends on what the Photosynthesis ability does. So we got Jigglypuff and old school Screamtail is looking like it's actually improvement to Wigglytuff. I think they did it right here. They gave it great defenses, no attacks, and I mean, why not just throw some speed on that? Throw some speed on that. You know, just got a proto form. Throw some speed on that. Just got a proto form. Throw some speed on that. Cause they doing it with Miss Drevis too. Although it's got no attack, it's just 135, 135, 135. This is a glass cannon right here. Ghost and Fairy glass cannon. Yo, I love the stat spread on this Pokemon. This is lit, bro. This Pokemon is going to catch mad bodies, bro. It can switch in on the special attack and just go to work. Let's get it. Although its HP is low, it's still going to be a little squishy no matter what kind of hits it's taking. This Pokemon is going to be so valid. Shout out to Fluttermane. Volcarona got a new form with the bug and fighting type. It's going crazy with the attack. It switched its 135 attack here. Still can use some special moves because it's a little higher than what Volcarona's physical stat was. And, well, honestly, I like Old Volk. Old Volk is a goated Pokemon. People don't even understand sometimes. I think that people forget how goated Volcarona is. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that they do. Now, I know Young Fungus is going to love this next one, and I think that this is going to be one of the most popular, overused, overspammed, annoying, all of those things. The list goes on and on. Pokemon. This is a Pokemon that you're going to love to hate this generation. Roaring Moon, Salamence, with the 139 attack, the 119 speed, the special defense. Why is it even 101? Why does it have 590 BST when everybody else had 570? Like, why? No, this Dragon Dark type right here, this thing's going crazy, bro. Hydreigon who? Hydreigon what? Imagine Salamence not having a 4 times weakness anymore. Oh wait, it does. It does. It has Fairy now. But, so? Like, this thing's going to go crazy. Everybody's going to be seeing the Roaring Moon. There's another future legendary. And I want to point out that this one does not have photosynthesis as an ability. Oh, all the past ones have photosynthesis. All the future ones have Quark Drive. Whatever these abilities do, I know they're going to be busted. They're probably going to be similar to Beast Boost or something like that. Who knows? Maybe they'll get a little creative with it, but I kind of doubt that that's going to be the case. No information on the Virizion yet, but we can go to the Iron Treads, which they add Steel type to Donphan. Yeah, not a huge fan of the stat spread here. I would rather just honestly go right down to, why are they all iron too? Why are they all like, kind of reminds me of my job. I work for a company called Iron Craft, and we got Iron Treads, Iron Moth, Iron Hands, Iron Craft. Boo. Anyway, but I do like the stat spread on the Poison Fire. Shout out to Salazzle again. Volcarona, this thing's going to be able to catch mad bodies. You don't need these stats right here. You need all of it here and here, like they did. So that's lit. Hariyama new form. Same speed. Little bit more in everything else. I like it. Just a little sprinkle of extra stats right across the whole thing. Iron Jugulus. Dark and flying type. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Let's just stick with Hydreigon. It's not it, bro. I don't know what Quark Drive does as an ability, but I don't understand the purpose of raising the speed to lower the attacking stats. I would rather take old Hydreigon, I'm pretty sure. When we come to Iron Thorns, I actually feel the same way. As soon as I see that 30 lower, the BSTs lowered 30, I'm like, all right, so what did you do with these stats? You took away the special attack. It probably didn't need. Gave it some defense, but not that much defense, and gave it just a hair more speed, but it's still slow. I guess this is probably better. I don't know. It's got really bad typing. No. Iron Thorns, no. Man, I'm a Violet player. I'm gonna just put this out there. At least I'm gonna get both versions, but at least the first version I'm gonna get is Violet. Thumbs down. Thumbs down on the Violet forms. All these future forms so far are worse. But Delibird is a Pokemon that couldn't get no worse. So let's look at what they did here. They made an Ice Water type. That's great. I like that. It adds some defense to it because Ice types are really bad defensive typing, and Water types are really good defensive typing. So from 330 BST to 570 BST, this Pokemon got a lot better, but especially when it's got an elite speed stat. Iron Bundle is going to be able to do some things with this 136 speed company with this 124 special attack. This is a Pokemon. Delibird is finally got his time to shine. So shout out to Delibird. Iron Valiant. Let's go down to him. Fighting Fairy. I like the typing a lot. I love the typing. And I do actually like the stat spread a lot because it's basically set up to be glass cannon. It's got some physical defenses, but he's got all of his stats right where we want him. When he pulls up looking like an anime superhero like that, he's got to just hit things. And that's, I think, exactly what we're going to see out of Iron Valiant. So, these Pokemon right here, these are like the new... I don't want to call them a trio because there's obviously 4 of them. But the new set of legendaries, right? So we got Ting Lu. Is a physical beast with high HP. We got Champao. All of these are dark type, by the way. It's a speedy physical attacker. I think this one's looking pretty good. Although its typing is super weak to fighting type, I don't know. Wu Qian, I like the slug design. And I like the defensive stat spread. Especially that 135 special defense to go with the 100 defense. That one's looking pretty fire. But speaking of fire, the fire one is Chi-Yu. 100's base speed, 135 special attack. That's a common combination for a good Pokemon, as well as having 120 special defense. This Pokemon's looking pretty legendary. Koraidon, Miraidon, they're so uber, bro. They're so banned. 670 BST. One's a physical attacking monster. One's a special attacking monster. I don't know what their abilities are going to do yet, but we already know what to expect from these Pokemon. And I think they're going to deliver on that expectation. They're going to pull up and take bodies. We got evolution line all the way down here in Tinkatink, Tinkatuff, and Tinkatun. They can break mold. They got Fairy Steel typing, best typing in the game in my opinion. And they can pickpocket too. Maybe there'd be some shenanigans that come from that. Compared to some of these past form things we've been seeing some very blown out stat spreads. But as far as like a pivoting, annoying Pokemon, I'm sure if this Pokemon has a good support move set, that it can take advantage of its defense, special defense, speed, and HP. And its typing is just amazing, so it's going to have that going for it regardless. Now we got Charcadet, which can evolve 2 ways, the Armorogue or Ceruledge. One's going to be a special attacker, one's going to be a physical attacker. They're both pretty good. We got Flash Fire on both of them, which is a viable ability. And we got Weak Armor on both of them, which is something that I think that the way these Pokemon's stats are spread out in their fire/offensive typing/offensive typing is built, I think that they're going to be able to take advantage of that weak armor thing pretty well. So that's cool. I got high hopes. I think that these are going to be two heavily seen, heavily used Pokemon. Oh, wait. Also, I don't know if that's his real Pokedex number, but shout out to Tinkatink for being Pokedex 1000. So we got two new Tentacruels. They're grass type, grass ground. I don't know what Mycelium Light does, but I know that Mycelium is what mushrooms grow from. Don't ask how I know that. Looking at Toadscruel, grass ground type, as I said, with good speed. Always has had 100 base speed. People just seem to forget that. It's got the exact same stats as a Tentacruel, but just a new typing. I think that this Pokemon is going to represent everything that Tentacruel has always represented. But don't forget, it's no longer poison type, so that's the thing. It can dodge electric moves, but it can't dodge any statuses. You know, poison typings can't be poisoned. Ground typings can. They just can't be hit by electric attacks. One of my favorite additions. I thought this was going to be a past future form when I first seen the leak, just because of the way it looks. But no. Bisharp is going to evolve. So, first of all, holy crap. Eviolite Bisharp? Holy crap. But also, look at this freaking King Gambit. It's slow as crap, but that's fine. It's got pressure, defiant, and a new ability called Supreme Overload. It has a higher attacking stat, has a higher HP, has a higher defense, it has a higher special defense. It's not going to use its special attack, so it doesn't need more than that. It's just basically better Bisharp. It's lit, bro. It's so lit. So we got Pooper and Clodsire, and I think that they're going to be a little bit worse. I don't know, man. That 130 HP is looking real nice on this Clodsire. Nah, I'm capping, bro. Clodsire is valid. I was only going to say that because of the poison typing having more weaknesses. Clodsire is just a different typed Quagsire. It's another sit in front of you, be unaware, and it's, you know, it could go poison point routes too now. It's got water absorb. It's not lacking that, so it's not actually weak to water, even though it's a ground type. Just because it's not water ground doesn't mean it's we good. Like, Clodsire is so valid. It's going to be a very annoying Pokemon that is going to be probably the Stallmon of the generation. Annihilate. This is one of the coolest evolutions that you could draw up. I mean, fighting Ghost Primate. It doesn't have Anger Point anymore, but that ability isn't really that good. I wish it was, but it ain't. And it still has Defiant. So, a little bit slower, a little bit more hard-hitting, and a little bit more bulky is what we're getting from Annihilate. As well as Ghost typing. So, you know, I think it's cool. What I did not know is we got 3 different Paldean Tauroses. We got one that's a fire, one that's a water, and they all have Cudchew. I knew of the first one. I had only seen the Paldea 1 Tauros, but I hadn't seen the Paldea 2 and 3. They all are carrying the same new stat spread of 110, 105 on the physical side. They all have a 10 lowered speed, so Tauros still does have something over them. And they have the same abilities too, so it's definitely going to be a situational thing on which one of these you might want to use. I still kind of feel like Tauros is pretty good. I feel like Tauros might be the best Tauros. Tauros, man, don't forget, was the best Pokemon in Gen 1 outside of Legendary. So that's the end of the list, and this has been a pretty long recording, so we're going to go ahead and throw this up. Make sure y'all drop a like and subscribe, especially if y'all listen to this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to be coming at y'all over the next weekend and foreseeable future with so much great content, guys. Not just me, but the other guys from Creator Haven. They're going to be out here too. We all going to be outside. So make sure you check us out. And I don't know, man. I'm bouncing out of here. Peace.